This right here is a Nord 2 and this is a Poco F3 GT. Two MediaTek flagship phones that are available for under Rs 30,000 with quite similar specs. But which one has the better camera setup? Let's find out. This is Varun from Guiding Tech and you're watching my in-depth camera comparison of the OnePlus Nord 2 with the Poco F3 GT. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start off with some video footage first.
So we're recording 1080p 30 fps footage from the OnePlus Nord 2, which is on my left side, and the Poco F3 GT, which is on my right side. The Poco F3 GT also has an HDR mode which has been turned on right now, while there is no such mode on the OnePlus Nord 2. Speaking of which, here's an actual representation of the HDR performance, and I have to say Poco is clearly winning this competition right here. The HDR performance is absolutely gorgeous as compared to what the OnePlus Nord is offering. In terms of stability, you can get an idea if I'm walking around which footage seems more stable. Keep in mind that neither of them have a stability mode turned on, and the OnePlus Nord 2 is actually in my left hand, which is not my preferred hand, but nonetheless the footage seems to be decently stable on both the phones, so no issues whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, this HDR performance in itself is damn crisp on the Poco F3 GT. Alright, so we're recording 1080p 30 fps footage on the OnePlus Nord 2, which is on my left, and the Poco F3 GT on my right. And immediately one thing that I have to say outrightly is the fact that the footage, at least on screen right now, of the Poco F3 GT does not look good. See, here's the thing, the colors look fine and everything, but the skin has a very differently added texture here. I'm guessing it's something to do with the HDR processing. I mean, there is an HDR mode here, but it looks very bad. I mean, forget not looking realistic, it just looks very bad to me. I mean, the skin structure and the texture looks bad. Other than that, the colors obviously look good. The HDR is obviously a very strong point for the Poco F3 GT, as you can see right here. In terms of stability, the OnePlus Nord 2 has a super stable mode turned on, so obviously the footage seems to be a tad bit better. But that also means that my frame is a little more cropped in. Obviously it's EIS, not OIS. So as you can see, the Poco F3 GT has a wider frame, while the OnePlus Nord 2 has a very zoomed in frame.
Now talking about selfies, similar to the videos, the Poco F3 GT shows a strong texture on my face, which is mostly down to over sharpening the image. Now some might call it better detailed, but let's be frank here, this is over sharpened. On the other side, the Nord 2 does a decent job, but the beard is still a bit soft. Nonetheless, I think I would still pick the Nord 2 here, simply because Poco's shot looks a bit too unnatural for my liking. Now switch to the portrait mode and they both have an excellent edge detection, so it's pretty much a tie here. Alright, now before we move on to daylight shots, one thing to highlight here is that all of these camera samples have been taken by me, and the entire video that you're watching is purely my own analysis. In fact, we have a direct download link to all of the camera samples taken directly from both the phones. You can download them from the link down in the description box. Check them out for yourself and leave your comments down below whether you agree with my analysis or you have a different opinion. See, we at Guiding Tech always do unbiased reviews and camera comparisons, and I would love to hear from you guys about what you think of these camera samples. Nonetheless, let's move on with the video. Okay, so now let's talk about the daylight shots, starting with this one. There are some stark differences in the two shots, as you can see. The Poco shot is far more detailed, but at the same time is way too oversaturated. Now on the other hand, the Nord 2 offers a closer to reality shot with quite decent details. In this next shot, you can see that Poco loves to oversharpen shots, though this time it's a bit controlled. The colors are also boosted, but I'll let you guys be the judge on what you prefer, because I do know that some people fancy saturated tones that the Poco offers here. That being said, I would personally go with what OnePlus offers since it's more closer to reality. Now one thing that I would like to highlight, however, is that sometimes Poco's so-called overprocessing does give out better results, like this one. While I'll admit that OnePlus's shot is definitely closer to reality, I'm confident in saying that almost everyone would like Poco's shot here. It has a better contrast, the sharpness adds to the richness of the shot, and the whites look super clean. So basically what I'm trying to say is that if you're someone who does not like to manually edit their pictures, the Poco F3 GT's camera is easily the favorable choice. Now moving on to HDR shots, while neither of them is perfect, the Poco F3 GT definitely has an upper hand here. The clouds are much better highlighted and the building also has a structure to it. The only downside here is that both the buildings and the trees have a big halo effect around them, while OnePlus once again offers a natural feel. Now in this shot, you'll find both the samples to be quite similar, especially in their color profiles. The Poco F3 GT, however, does have the upper hand in terms of details, as we've already seen so far. That being said, switch to the ultra-wide mode and this time OnePlus has a much better shot. You might not notice it right away, but if you focus on the top right portion, you can see that Poco's shot is blurry and has a massive fisheye effect, while OnePlus manages to control the distortion quite well. Finally, we have low light shots, and in this first shot you can see that Poco tends to oversharpen the night shots as well. Now to its credit, there isn't a lot of noise to be honest, especially if you look at the pavements here. In this next shot as well, you can see that while the F3 GT makes use of oversharpening, the subjects are slightly better illuminated, especially if you zoom into the hut in the middle. The grass has texture as well, while the Nord 2 shot is comparatively quite soft. That being said, with the night mode turned on, it's the Nord 2 that comes out on top. The picture has better details, while Poco's oversharpening technique this time goes for looking a bit too much. Alright, so which one is the winner here? Well, to be honest with you guys, this one has been one of the most easiest camera comparisons that I've done on Guiding Tech, simply because these are clear-cut winners in each department. Basically, if you're someone who wants natural and closer to reality colors, the OnePlus Nord 2 is the way to go for. However, if you're someone who does not want to waste your time editing your pictures manually, post-processing them in Snapseed or the editor of your choice, I feel confident in saying that Poco will give out results that are basically suitable to everyone's needs and tastes and desires. The results will basically look like how I would or most people would edit their images anyway. So yeah, that is where the Poco F3 GT shines a lot. At the end of the day, they're both excellent smartphones with great camera hardware and you can't really go wrong with either of them. And well, that was it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more awesome tech content. Till then, this is Vam from Guiding Tech and I'll see you in the next one.